Welcome to StopFake, the place where we uncover disinformation about Ukraine and set the record straight. I'm Irena Chalupa, and I'm happy to present this week's edition. Among today's fakes, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov lies about the Budapest Memorandum. What did Ukraine's central banker really say about pensioners? A fake virus allegedly kills Ukrainian soldiers, and the Russian secret services warn Ukraine that ISIS is about to attack. Those are the fakes, so let's get to them. During a January 26th press conference summing up Kremlin's foreign policy in 2015, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov announced that Russia did not violate the Budapest Memorandum, which, according to Lavrov, contains only one commitment: not to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine. The Budapest Memorandum on Security Assurances is a political agreement signed in Budapest in 1994 by Ukraine, Russia, Great Britain, and the United States in connection with Ukraine's accession to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, as a result of which Ukraine gave up the world's third largest nuclear weapons arsenal. The fifth point of the memorandum does in fact commit Russia, a nuclear power, not to use atomic weapons against Ukraine. At the same time, the document outlines Russia's obligations to guarantee Ukraine's territorial integrity in exchange for Ukraine giving up its nuclear weapons. Point 1 says that Russia commits to respect the independence, sovereignty, and existing borders of Ukraine. In point 2, the Kremlin pledges to refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of Ukraine. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Pavlo Klimkin challenged the Russian Foreign Minister and suggested that Lavrov actually read the text of the memorandum. Russia began claiming that it had not violated the Budapest Memorandum right after annexing Crimea. On April 1, 2014, Russia's Foreign Ministry announced that it was only obliged not to threaten or use nuclear weapons against non-nuclear states. Russia's President Putin also announced that Russia was not bound by the obligations of this document. Annexing Crimea and violating Ukraine's territorial integrity was allowed, maintained the Kremlin, because after President Viktor Yanukovych escaped to Russia as a result of the Maidan Revolution, Moscow no longer had a binding contract with the new state. The Russian-language news site Vesti Versii События published a story claiming that the head of Ukraine's national bank, Valeria Hontareva, accused the country's pensioners of taking billions of dollars out of the country. Valeria Hontareva accused Ukrainians who do not have enough money for food of taking huge amounts of cash out of the country, claims Vesti Versii События, and adds, according to Hontareva, many pensioners spent the January holidays in foreign resorts where they spent hard currency. In fact, Hontareva, in an interview with TSN, explained that the increased demand for hard currency over the last weeks was driven by several reasons. January had many holidays where people were spending money, many of them vacationed abroad, and all social benefits for the period were paid ahead of time at the end of December. On January 26, the website Pravda.ru ran a news item claiming that outside the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, 20 soldiers died and 200 were hospitalized with a deadly California flu virus. Two fake stories generated by the so-called Donetsk People's Republic appear to be the source for this false claim. On January 12th, DNR separatist spokesman Eduard Basurin said the virus brought on extremely high temperatures that could not be brought down by conventional drugs. On January 22nd, the same Basurin announced at a press conference that Ukrainian soldiers were admitted to a Kharkiv hospital suffering from a virus that was leaked from an American laboratory located in the village of Shelkostansia. On the video from the press conference, Basurin claims that 20 soldiers were hospitalized. In other reports, the figure was inflated to 200. None of these fake stories were accompanied by any additional information or photographs, and in the last several days, the two stories melded into one and gained considerable traction on the web and in social media. There has been no mass illness or viral infection among Ukraine's armed forces. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry has no information about any mass illness or mysterious viruses. As for the secret U.S. laboratory near Kharkiv, this information first appeared in 2013, when it was announced that a research facility might be built nearby. However, after local protests inspired by fear-mongering publications in the tabloid Viesti claimed that the Pentagon was building a laboratory in Ukraine to study anthrax and the plague, construction never began, and plans for the facility were officially abandoned by local authorities. The well-known Russian propaganda channel Life News published a news item claiming that Russia has warned Ukraine's security services that ISIS is planning to carry out terrorist acts in the country. Having learned that ISIS groups are planning acts of terror in Ukraine, Russia's Federal Security Service has passed this information to the Ukrainian Security Service, writes Life News. The names of 10 alleged terrorists about to descend on Ukraine were handed over to Kyiv, claims Life News. Olena Hytlyanska, the spokeswoman for Ukraine's security service, the SBU, dismissed this story as a fake and said that the SBU has nothing to do with Russian special services. Speaking to the Ukrainian television channel 112, Hytlyanska said the SBU was looking into Life News's claims about possible terrorist attacks, but underscored that their primary concern was not to cause panic and reassure people that the authorities were determined to keep the public safe. Russia's notorious Life News regularly broadcasts fake stories about Ukraine. Some of the more outrageous ones have claimed that Ukrainians crucify captive Russian soldiers and kill bullfinches because these birds are blue, white, and red, the colors of the Russian flag. That's it for this week's Fakes. To follow Exposed Fakes, please visit StopFake's website, and please keep an eye out for any and all fake stories. Let us know what you think needs to be checked out or verified. Tune in next week as we look for truth behind more fake stories. Truth is honesty, and honesty, said Thomas Jefferson, is the first chapter of the Book of Wisdom. So let's try to be wise. I'm Irena Chalupa, and this is Stop Fake.